They hiss, they slither, and unfortunately for humans and unsuspecting prey, they bite. Few animals strike as much fear into people as venomous snakes. Snakes bite about 5.4 million people every year, resulting in between 81,000 and 138,000 deaths, according to the World Health Organization. Although the chances of running into the venomous snake, much less being bitten and dying from the toxin injected into one's body, are minuscule compared to dying from cancer, heart disease, or an automobile accident, this seemingly unreasonable fear remains very real for many people. So, here is a list of 12 deadliest snakes in the world. King Cobra. The king cobra is the longest venomous snake in the world, measuring up to 18 feet. Its bite delivers a tremendous number of paralysis-inducing neurotoxins. The snake's impressive eyesight allows it to spot a moving person from nearly 330 feet away. When threatened, a king cobra will use its special ribs and muscles in its neck to flare out its hood or the skin around its head. These snakes can also lift their heads off to the ground about a third of their body length. Its claim to fame is not so much the potency of its venom, but rather the amount injected into victims, and the snake tends to attack with 3 or 4 bites in quick succession. But even a single bite can kill a human in 15 minutes and an adult elephant in just a few hours. When these cobras attack, they target the base of their victims' heads, then kill by injecting a venomous cocktail that quick shuts down nervous systems and paralyzes their prey. Moreover, king cobras specialize in eating other snakes. 6 cobra species in South Africa are snake eaters, and 5 of them are cannibals. Many captive king cobras have swallowed their enclosure mates or male opponents, perhaps due to their confinement, which contributed to deviant behavior. While the females are only snakes to build a nest, the males appear to be the only ones to deliberately hunt down egg-laden females. So researchers struggle to explain why males kill females. Horned viper. The horned viper is a poisonous snake that is active at dusk and during the night. When it buries itself in the sand, the sandy color of its body provides the perfect camouflage, and in many cases, its presence is only betrayed by the small horns above the eyes, which give the snakes its name, each of which is made up of scale. The horned viper is one of the few snakes that emit a rattling sound when threatened. It achieves this off-putting noise by rubbing together specially serrated scales that are arranged in inclined rows on its sides. This rattling is a substitute for hissing through the nose, which the viper is unable to do. The horned viper injects its venom into its prey through hollow teeth. The venom causes problems with blood clotting in particular. In rare cases, a viper bite can prove fatal for humans. Iranian spider-tailed viper. A spider-snake hybrid would probably cause more heart attacks than cholesterol, so it's a relief such a thing doesn't exist. Kinda. There is in fact a snake out there that pretends to be a spider. And even though it's not an actual snake-spider hybrid, it's still probably the last thing anyone wants to see. As documented by National Geographic, the rarely seen Iranian spider-tailed viper is exactly that. A snake with a tail that looks like a spider. That tail is actually a lure, much like the illuminated lure dangling from the head of an anglerfish. Basically, the viper lies in wait, camouflaged among the rocks, shifting the spider-looking part of its tail this way and that until its favorite food, birds, usually warblers, swoops down to munch. Then, within 2 seconds, the viper strikes, incapacitating the poor birdie and readying itself for a tasty meal. Interestingly, this snake has only been its own species since 2006. We've known it existed since 1968, but it was misclassified as a regular viper with a birth defect. In hindsight, those researchers were probably just in denial that such an unholy abomination exists. Boomslang. About 24 hours after being bitten on the thumb by a juvenile boomslang, herpetologist Carl Patterson Schmidt died from internal bleeding from his eyes, lungs, kidneys, heart, and brain in 2017. The boomslang, which can be found throughout Africa but lives primarily in Switzerland, Botswana, Namibia, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, is one of the most venomous of the so-called rear-fanged snakes. Such snakes can fold their fangs back into their mouths when not in use. As in other deadly snakes, this one has hemotoxic venom that causes their victims to bleed out internally and externally. With an egg-shaped head, oversized eyes, and a bright green patterned body, the boomslang is quite the looker. When threatened, the snake will inflate its neck to twice its size and expose a brightly colored flap of skin between its scales. Death from a boomslang bite can be gruesome. Victims suffer extensive muscle and brain hemorrhaging, and on top of that, blood will start seeping out of every possible exit, including the gums and nostrils and even the tiniest of cuts. Blood will also start passing through the body via the victim's stools, urine, saliva, and vomit until they die. Luckily, there is antivenom for the boomslang, if a victim can get it in time, of course. Common krait. The common krait doesn't sound or look like much of a threatening snake until you realize how it attacks, and then you never ever sleep again. The krait is mostly found in South Asia and it mostly hunts at night. Thus, most of the snake's victims are sleeping when bitten. Unfortunately, this is not a case where you get chomped on the leg and wake up screaming. Nope, you are likely to not feel anything at all. The bite is so small and painless, you are likely to sleep like a baby through the whole ordeal. That's a big problem because the krait's venom is rather strong and can result in respiratory paralysis if untreated. And untreated is exactly what could happen if you sleep through the bite. Dismiss the bite mark in the morning as some damn mosquito and not realize it's so much worse until far too late. Flying snake. The very idea of a flying snake sounds too terrible to be true, like something Stephen King might dream up. But nope, they're real, because not even the skies are safe from those that slither. Found mostly in Southeast Asia, the 5 known species of flying snakes don't truly fly, per se, but they can climb trees, most likely to escape predators. They use the wind to glide from there on. That said, if a particularly large gust of wind gets them, they basically fly, and anyone who sees it basically has to get a change of plans. Luckily, these snakes aren't deadly to humans at all. They are venomous, but only mildly so, and their fangs are too tiny to do any real damage to us. But then most spiders are harmless too, and we are still scared of them. No way will saying the flying snakes can't actually kill you stop people from freaking out about flying snakes. Black mamba. You've almost certainly heard of the black mamba and know it as a venomous, dangerous snake, but there is a chance you don't know the half of why the black mamba is so terrifying. It's basically a horror movie monster brought to life. Black mambas aren't actually black, they are typically brown. The black is found on the inside of their mouths. The mamba, which can grow up to 14 feet long, readies itself for attack by raising a third of its body in the air, meaning this giant snake is now possibly staring you in the eye. Oh, and it's super fast too, capable of reaching slither speeds of over 12 miles an hour. You are not outrunning that, so don't even try. And when it bites you, it bites multiple times that you can't point across. Also, black mamba venom is super potent and can kill within 20 minutes if not treated immediately. Africa's deadliest snake can kill a person with just 2 drops of venom. Here is what a black mamba's venom does to your body. Once injected, the venom interferes with activity at a junction where nerves and muscles connect, resulting in paralysis. Because the venom is also cardiotoxic, it can lead to cardiac arrest. That was the case for a South African man who got bitten by a black mamba on his index finger. By the time he got to the hospital within 20 minutes, he was already in cardiac arrest. Even though doctors treated him with antivenom, the man ended up dying days later. About the only creatures who can hang out with black mambas are mongooses, who are immune to snake venom. But if you're reading this, you are probably not a mongoose, so all we can say is good luck. Taipan. In a country like Australia, where everything is legally required to be deadly and vicious, the taipan stands out as the continent's most venomous snake. Taipans are incredibly fast, can reach lengths of up to 3 meters, and are ridiculously toxic. They don't even need to fully bite in order to envenom their victim. All they need to do is make contact with the muscle and their job is done. So if a taipan merely manages to graze you with its fangs before you nut off, don't think you are even close to being in the clear. All this alone would make them pretty terrible. But what's worse is the way they tease their prey. Normally a taipan will bite something, but rather than clamp on until it dies, the taipan will actually let it go after a quick bite. It will then stalk the prey until it collapses and dies from the venom. So not only is this snake deadly, but to the taipan, death is a game. Mojave rattlesnake. The Mojave rattlesnake is also known as the Mojave green, is the highly venomous pit viper species. It's found predominantly in the desert regions of the southwestern United States as well as central Mexico, and is largely considered by scientists to possess the most toxic venom of all rattlesnake species. The Mojave rattlesnake grows from 3 to 4.5 feet in length. The venom of the Mojave rattlesnake is extremely deadly and nearly matches the toxicity of several elapids. Bites from the Mojave rattler often have delayed symptoms, prompting individuals to often underestimate the severity of their bite. However, within hours, vision problems, difficulty speaking, as well as muscle weakness are very common. Moreover, the venom often causes difficulty breathing and often leads to respiratory failure if prompt medical treatment is not sought. Spitting cobra. You may already know about the spitting cobra, but studies on them have shown that they are way more frightening than you even knew. Mainly because when they spit, they know exactly what they're doing and where their spit hurts the most. It was discovered that red Mozambique and black-necked spitting cobras not only spit venom at you, but that they can do so from up to 6 feet away. What's worse is that if their spit gets into your eyes, it can cause massive damage. The venom is damaging to the tissue in an eye's cornea, and the burns can lead to blindness if not treated right away. And yet it somehow gets worse. Rather than just spitting randomly and hitting an eye, these cobras have been found to actually be aiming directly for the eyes. They know their target's weak spots and they exploit them. Once the red Mozambique and black-necked spitting cobras were tested by having them spit at man's eyes. And the results? Both snakes aim for the eyes. The black-necked cobras hit 80% of the time, and the red Mozambique cobras hit every single time. So if you come across one and aren't wearing goggles, don't hang your hopes on the snake being clumsy and missing your eyeballs. Your only hope is to run. Inland taipan. The inland taipan is one of the most venomous snakes, meaning just a teensy bit of its venom can kill prey. They live tucked away in the clay crevices of Queensland and South Australia's floodplains, often within the pre-dug burrows of other animals. Living in more remote locations than the coastal taipan, the inland taipan rarely comes into contact with humans. When the taipan does feel threatened, the snake coils its body into a tight S shape before darting out in one quick bite or multiple bites. A main ingredient of this venom, which sets it apart from other species, is the hyaluronidase enzyme. This enzyme increases the absorption rate of the toxins throughout the victim's body. Russell's viper venom. Around 58,000 deaths in India are attributed to snake bites every year, and the Russell's viper is responsible for the majority of these mortalities. This species is considered one of the deadliest of the true vipers. Watch your step if you are vacationing in India, because the daboya snake will cause the blood in your body to congeal into jello, which is obviously not a good thing. The snake's genus refers to the Hindi word for lurking and hiding, so it's not an exaggeration to suggest watching your footfalls. While many hematoxins thin your blood into a watery, useless mess, Russell's viper coagulates things beyond control, making you pee blood, throw up, and possibly suffer complete kidney failure. If you survive, you are in for weeks of intense pain and blisters and a lifetime of reduced organ function. These snakes cause high mortality among paddy farmers during harvest time. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more interesting videos. Have a nice day!